Jimmy on a beat, boy.
Okay, Groomer. Whatever you say, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Yeah, Groomer. Whatever you say, okay, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Yeah, Groomer. Whatever you say, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Whatever you say, okay, Groomer. Groomer. Please, your pedo moves don't vibe with me. You're not slick, you make me sick. Please just delete your account quick. Okay, Groomer. Whatever you say, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Whatever you say, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Whatever you say, Groomer. Okay, Groomer. Okay, Groomer.
Jimmy on a
Okay,
beat, boy.
Groomer.
Ah, what a lovely start, aren't we going, huh? So, yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. Hello there, everyone. Whatever you say, Groomer. Yeah, that's okay, Groomer song. I hope you like that. It's chilled in the chat. As for like, let's just get into like talking to you guys real quick before the show actually starts. So, we got some people. We got Adam. Hello there, Adam, son of Psyops. How are you doing? Hello there, Fox Aruza, Dan, Omnivore Teacher. I believe that's how you call it. Omnivore. I don't know who you are. Sir Adamantine. Hello there. We got Bash, Taffy, Scotty O'Hare, Nosfire, Dumb Blonde. Hi there, Dumb Blonde. Jennifer Ranilla. How are you doing? Raxy. Hello. Let's see. Congrats on 1K subs, Kaz. Thank you for the things. Vash says, Fox Mafia, rise up. Indeed, we must rise. We must rise up and own the pedos. Yes. We got Lunar Phoenix. Hello there. Sometimes I just can't. This song, yeah, absolutely. Hello there, official. I don't know how to spell your last name, so I apologize. Hello there, Cyber. How you doing? So we got some. Sorry if I like miss some of you guys. There, like I'm not getting used to having a large audience on YouTube anytime soon. No. Anyway, so hello everyone. How you doing? We're gonna talk about. Hello there, Titanium Fox. Hello there. Too shiny boy. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. We are gonna talk about some pretty crazy shit. So bear with us. I'm sure this type of stream will have lots of accusations on our end. And when I mean by our end, I mean people going seething. How dare that edgy boy Fox boy talks about serious shit again? How dare you? How dare you talk about this? So, yeah. Feel free to share this content around, by the way. You know, it helps get people to see it. Anyway, so we're going to talk about some stuff tonight. As apparently, Reddit and Twitter have decided that you're not allowed to talk about the word groomer anymore. Not at all. No. Turns out recently that if you decide to say, oh, this person's a groomer, you might lose your account. And now it's an official thing. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to have a giant diatribe and understand what that means for people going forward, especially for the LGBT, because apparently that's the crux of the issue. So, I hope you get your vodka shots. I hope you got your bottle of rum. We're going into some existential territory. Anyway. Hello there. Vash the Stampede. Alright, so let me go look around real quick. Also, if you get some weird stutters, that might be technical issues.
Oh, no worries. Oh my goodness. Yesterday's stream.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long that one's gonna be up, but I just wanted to mention you guys need to check that out before it may or may not get taken down. And we'll obviously have it come back up, but still.
Yeah, check up my account known as my secondary streaming account known as TheHunt Live. It's already uploaded there because I prefer to archive my stuff as much as I can. So if anything goes wrong, feel free to look up that or Odyssey. My account on Odyssey, that also works. The links in the description down below are right there, of course, on this stream. So, all right. So, what is the origin of this problem? Well, there is a few points. So around July 16th, Reddit supposedly banned the word groomer. Now, when they said the word groomer, they meant specifically to take down anyone who calls out, who says that anyone in, the general argument, you know what I mean? Like generalizations, where if someone says, if you're an LGBT person, if you're gay, if you're a tranny, that means you're a pedophile or something. That's what they meant, supposedly, if you check up their TOS. However, because of a certain specific news article, it turned into a much bigger shit show. Not saying that I encourage people banning the word in general, regardless of context, because I think that's stupid, but let's just look into why it gets worse. All right, let me actually check up my stuff real quick.
Well, I mean, while you're doing that, we've been in this pattern recently where we want to redefine old words, and we want to, and whenever I say we, I mean we as a human race, apparently, with the newer generations. We want to redefine old words and create new ones, apparently. And you can see that by reforming the Webster's Dictionary, and then even currently with the whole deal of the term groomer and it being banned.
Yep.
Which it's weird how that process has been happening.
Yeah. So let me go through the process of showing you the very tweet that started all this drama. Yeah, give me a sec. Come on, fucking work, retard. Yes, I call my OBS retard. So this is from Pink News. Anti-LGBTQ plus groomer slur has been banned on Reddit in a bid to tackle hate speech. Your move, Twitter. And you got responses from people like, Styx Hexenhammer, who's going, so grooming minors is now somehow an LGBTQ thing. Look at the ratios on that.
We own grooming.
Look at
That is our N-word, okay, sweetie? Like, what the fuck?
But yeah, what the fuck? I love that, like, just got fucking ratioed by Styx of all people. Like, holy shit. Right? So let's go into the article, see what happens. Alright, let's go to the article real quick. Oh! There is no account. There is no article, guys. Look at that. There is no article. See, oh, jeez, I wonder what happened with that. So as soon as like Twitter decided to adopt taking down the word groomer, this happened. I wonder why. Okay, so what are we gonna do, chat? What do you? Oh, wait a minute. Almost like we got an actual archive. Oh,
the internet doesn't forget.
The internet doesn't forget.
We take notes.
We take
the memory of humans' brains are bad.
All right, let's read this. So, history is gonna get canceled. Absolutely, can't wait for it. So let's go read through this article now. It goes, anti-LGBT groomer slur banned on Reddit in a bid to tackle hate speech. Your move, Twitter. Okay, let's read from LME. Like Chetty, I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm gonna go Chubby. Let's go Chubby. Let's go LME Chubby. Yeah. So she made this article, and I think we'll probably talk about her in a minute because she's like really desperate for attention. So might as well, right? So Reddit has banned the anti-LGBTQ TP slur. I always fuck up when I say that. I'm sorry. Like I think my brain's like, you're too pure to speak it out loud. Do not become heathen. I don't know. I'm just joking. Slur groomer under its hate speech policy, as well as any other references to LGBTQ people as pedophiles. That doesn't make it an LGBT. That doesn't make it an anti-LGBT slur, though. What? 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 Alright, okay. The vile slur, which conflates LGBTQ plus identities with pedophiles, has been increasingly in use online and now has been banned by Reddit as hate speech. Okay. How does it make it... What? What? See, again, notice how they don't explain how it is an anti-LGBT slur. Oh, okay. Alright. Journalist, I can't even pronounce that name. Alexandria call it Cardboard, okay, whatever her fuck name is. On Twitter has this social media platform will now enforce their hate speech policy on the content that utilizes the Groomer label, which means that posts containing the slur will break Reddit's policy and could be taken down. So basically, let's say if, like, you know, and here's the thing, right? I know Reddit is cringe, and it is. I will say one thing positive, only one thing positive for Reddit. It is a pretty good place to find documented information on creeps to talk about for my content. I will admit, every once in a while they got some juicy subreddits for that, but like, I wonder how many of those subreddits will be taken down now because they use the word groomer. You know? Like, or another thought experiment. Let's say if we go after someone who is a pedophile and they are gay, right? Does that mean we're not allowed to talk about them? I don't know. What do you think, Chad? I want to hear your thoughts about that. Is that even okay to do?
I mean, I also think that look at I have to bring it up again. Yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, the dude met 17-year-olds. This is by his words. Met 17-year-olds, married at 18, and then divorced at like 21 to 22 because they were too old for him. Like, I mean, and you don't think that a 40 to 50-year-old can't shape and mold, because essentially that is what grooming is.
Yeah.
Or shaping them into what you want them to be, because there is a quote good term of grooming, like you're grooming into politics, you're being groomed for this position in a business or some shit. What we're talking about is an entirely different thing, and the fact that the LGBTQ plus community has chosen to die on this hill.
Oh yeah.
Say that their term for grooming, which is an older man teaching a boy, so they believe in NAMBLA, basically, the North American.
Well, we'll get into this, but we'll get into it further. But essentially, the argument boils down to, like, because the thing about this, and I'll say this later in detail after we're done reading the article, but essentially, I've noticed this weird thing where these fringe assholes in these communities will say stupid shit and then not realize that the average person is not going to say it in the way they think it is, right? Like, they don't care, like, if the average person doesn't give a shit if, let's say, you think the word groomer is a slur, because to them, a groomer means a pedophile. So they're going to interpret that they think that you own the average person will think, okay, so you're owning the word pedophile. Does that make you one? You know, that, again, we'll get into that later. We'll get into the other shit later. I just want to read through the article. The community hate against hate subreddit added that as well as the groomer slur, Reddit will now enforce its hate speech policy on those who portray being transgender as a mental illness or quote transgender suicide statistics in a hateful way. Okay. Wait, what does the groomer slur have anything to do with that? What the fuck?
I don't really understand what it would have to do with trans rights.
Yeah, again,
I'm not trans, so.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Carbello. Sorry, I cannot pronounce her name for the life of me, and honestly, I'm not going to. I think I'll just call her Cardboard. Let's go with that. So Cardboard added, "Your moved Twitter referencing Twitter's users' complaints that the social media site does not do enough to prevent hate speech." Okay, so let me get this straight. A website notorious for pedophiles and child pornography, but let's ignore that. Let's only talk about hate speech. Okay, yeah, I'm already seeing a pattern here. An example of this came last week when despite its anti-hate policy, Elliot Page's dead name was allowed on to trend along with anti-trans slurs. Well, given that you seem to think that the word groomer is a slur, I don't really want to know what that entails for what else you consider a slur. Reddit will now enforce their hate speech policy on content that utilizes the groomer label. Content that equates LGBTQ people to groomers and pedophiles will violate the hate speech policy. Reddit is now more productive than Twitter. Your move. Proactive than Twitter, excuse me. Okay, so again, my issue with that isn't referring to that as a slur though. That is referring to if you said unironically that anyone who's gay or a member of the LGBT is a pedophile, you do get kicked out for saying that. That's not calling it a slur though. You are intentionally writing it as such. You fucking dishonest hack. Fuck. A recent poll found out that the majority of U.S. voters oppose using the slur groomer to describe the LGBT-inclusive teachers and parents because it doesn't make sense to include it as a slur for the LGBT, though. What? What the fuck? The data of the data for Progress poll surveyed that 1,155 voters likely asked about the spread of the anti-LGBT legislation across the U.S. As a slur. Now you're saying certain slurs. Okay. The poll stated some groups have been described to teachers and parents who oppose banning discussions about those identity schools as groomers, a term used to describe someone who gets close to that building trust with a child or young person with the intent of sexually abusing them. I mean, given all the accusations we've sat through of teachers doing things to their kids, I can't necessarily say that isn't too inaccurate that some teachers are doing that, but again, that why do we have to make it into we can't say it because it's a slur now? Respondents
There were 181 of them one day.
Yeah. Wait, no.
I mean that alone of it's that many charges. There's some case to, some of the LGBTQ plus community going into schools. And why do they go into the schools? Well, the same fucking reason that I worked for fucking restaurants for food. It's where it is that their desire is.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Respondents were asked whether or not they agreed that teachers and parents that support decisions about sexual orientation and gender identity in schools in the wake of the Florida Don't Say Gay legislation were groomers, and the majority of them said they did not. Well, again, these are just polls. A lot of people are upset about those type of things because you're essentially taking power away from the parents. So, like, we'll get in that some other day, but this seems like a non-argument. It seems like one of those things they're trying to do to conflate it like, oh, well, we have these, like, random statistics on our side, despite, like, we're not showing where these statistics are coming from, per se. We're not really putting too much effort in describing how they got this shit. Broken down by political affiliation, that just 15% of likely Democrat voters supported anti-LGBT quote groomer language, while 45% were likely of Republican voters agree with the slur. It's almost like people don't care about politics. If they think you're touching their kid or you're trying to prepare them for sexual activity that they shouldn't even be understanding yet because they're kids, that might make you a groomer. Wow. It's almost like it's not a partisan issue. Wow. What a thunk. A Reddit spokesperson said Reddit is a place for creating community and belonging along. You mean a community full of degenerates? Our content policy prohibits content that promotes hate speech based on identity or vulnerability, including gender, gender identity, and sexual orientation. It won't ban pedophiles. We regularly reach out to the communities on our platform to remind them that our policies and offer support, and will continue to enforce our policies across the platform. Well, there you go on the article that we're not allowed to read into. So I have a few potential theories as to why that when you see these articles, they decided to delete them. And I assume it has something to do with the fact they didn't like the backlash they got for it. Because they were getting ratioed fucking hard. Like, they were just getting macked on.
They will always delete whatever backlash. Because these people aren't journalists.
Yeah.
They aren't. They're not.
Really
An actual journalist. You want me to give you a good journalist? Fucking that umbrella guy. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a shout out because he actually does fucking show the truth, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, yep.
And that's what journalism's about. But oh no. Whenever you take a hot take like this, like that person's still in their office chair, still able to make articles.
Yep.
I'm sure that if we looked at the writer, then they're able to make other takes on other things and try and act like this shit never fucking happened. And you know what? A lot of the community will completely go with it because they don't want any conflict.
Oh, that's exactly why I'm in favor of conflict in general, because conflict makes strong people. This is exactly why the LGBT gets attacked the way it does, is because it capitulates to awful people. It's the same with furries. Every single time there's conflict, they go, guys, but we gotta capitulate to that. We gotta fight the evil Republicans first. But they never think, hey, maybe we need to police our own, because now they're actually trying to push this shit onto our platform, essentially. That's what basically it boils down to. But instead of listening to this, they interpret like it's a crime. Call out. Then again, when I was calling this shit out years ago, I was called a self-hating gay by like everyone in the fucking room. And was it recently with the furries and like content on the furry fandom? Like a bunch of them came at me and said that I'm too right-wing to be one. So there you go, guys. I guess I'm not a furry. Confirmed. I'm just a charlatan. So
how dare you have that character, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, so in wake of the whole situation, essentially what happened was that is that, as I predicted, immediately after the word got banned off of Reddit, people found new words. Okay, Predator. Here you go, chat. You see that, chat? Okay, Predator.
I mean, that's the whole thing. You wanna make up new words. Well, we can make up new words. You know, if you like the whole deal about war is generally there is rules of engagement, and usually you set said rules of engagement by not doing certain things, but whenever your opponent does it, then you're able to do it.
Yep. So let me go read this. The 35-year-old predator. Actually, the word you want to use is map. Pedophile's offensive. NAMBLA member. What do you mean I can't talk to your kids alone about sex? Are you a bigot? Remember, kids, this is a safe space for everyone. No need to tell your parents. Reddit mod/admin. Oh, sweetie, Groomer is actually an anti-LGBT slurred dog whistle. Oh my fucking god.
My god!
Oh, I love the internet. Oh.
I mean, this is why I personally like. You mentioned conflict a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's happening currently in that, and there is becoming a divide inside of the LGBT community, and it seems to be an LGB.
Yep. We'll talk about that in a minute, of course, as well. But Yeah, there's some small, I would say kind of small, but they're getting there type groups that are dedicating themselves to say, hey, we need to call this out. And we'll encourage that in a minute, because I always encourage people to get involved if they want to call out what it is. So, okay, Predator. Reddit banned the word groomer because it's now hate speech. And 24 hours later, the community comes up with a new word. Life finds a way. Yeah, it's very true. Life
Right.
does find the way. You try to censor speech, people will find their ways around it. That's the beauty of language and human persistence. You are welcome,
Damn,
Cass. Thank
Jeff
you.
Goldblum.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Jeff Goldblum, you need to come out of your cave and you need to fix some shit. You need to explain some shit with chaos theory.
So Elon hasn't banned any words mentioned by Kaz yet. I'm surprised if he did. I mean, I probably would have felt it by now on my YouTube channel or Twitter. I've literally been told the same thing. You're too base to be a furry. But by Floxagear, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's why I embrace it when people tell me I'm not allowed to be a joke. I'm not allowed to joke. I'm not allowed to be edgy. I just spit on their face and do it anyway. It's funny. Let's see if we can look at Twitter ban. Let's see, Twitter banned the word groomer. And funny enough, we're talking about the same company, same group. Not the same group, excuse me. The same media source has decided to weigh their chips in after already running away from the first one. Starting to notice a pattern here.
So they're double and tripling down?
From Pink News. Twitter says calling trans and non-binary people groomer is hate speech. Twitter has said that it has banned the use of the word groomer when directed at trans and non-binary people as an anti-LGBTQ slur. So they doubled down and just basically, instead of talking about Reddit doing it, they went with Twitter, which, again, we'll get into that in just a moment. But yes, it's very stupid, people. This is very dumb. The use of the word groomer is an anti-LGBTQ plus slur. Conflating queer identities with pedophilia has been rapidly increasing in recent months. It almost feels like a copy pasta. This week, Twitter confirmed by Daily Dot in a statement that describes trans and non-binary people as groomers is now against hate speech policy. We are committed to combating abuse motivated by hatred, prejudice, or intolerance, particularly abuse that seeks to silence the voices of those who have been historically marginalized, Twitter's health product communications lead, Lauren Alexander said. Geez, kind of ironic given they can't call out pedos on Twitter.
Things a bit glowy.
Yeah, I know, right? For this reason, we prohibit behavior that targets individuals or groups with abuse based on their perceived membership in a protected category. So does that mean pedos are a protected class now? Like actual pedos? I'm not talking about LGBT. Because that just sounds very weird. Hello, Flying Flux. It's not an. I know it's it's not an LGBT word. Like they're just saying it is because they're being clout chasing tards. For this reason, okay, use of the term is prohibited under our hateful conduct policy when it's used as a descriptor in context of discussing of gender identity. However, enforcement of the rules has been patchy with the word being used in many different contexts. Yeah, it's Twitter. Like all the child porn on your fucking website. Alexander said, "We recognize that we may have more work to do to ensure this content is addressed in a timely and consistent manner. And we continue to invest our automated tools in people teams to identify and address gaps in our enforcement." Oh, fuck. Arian Demar, how do you pronounce that? I do not know how you pronounce that. LGBT programmer director at Media Matters for America reports on Twitter that author James Landy has described her as a groomer 4 times in one day. Okay, cool. I mean, so why would I care? Reported tweets on Thursday, July, confirmed that Lindsay is an anti-woke crusader who has been credited with parts for popularizing the word slur has been on Twitter. Okay, look, I'm just gonna make the mistake here. I don't care if the right wing uses the term. It's stupid to just like haphazardly use it without proof. Sure, cool, but why would we go out of our way to like censor the word? That doesn't help the LGBT. That helps pedophiles. That's all it does. Misusing Groomer to attack LGBTQ people erases survivors of sexual abuse and being used to incite violence against the LGBT community. Good to see Twitter finally starting to take this seriously. That's it. I guess that's it. I don't know. The layout's a bit hard to read through. So there you go. They decided to double down because their clout chasing attempts backfired the first time. So now they're going, well, how can we twist this around? We're going to talk about Twitter. Now, the reason I think this is funny is because of Twitter's history. Now, as you guys who've been around my channel for a while, you know some of the fucked up shit Twitter has been accused of and involved in and even admitted to. This is a website, after all, that straight up said that CP is not a violation of their terms of service. Want proof? Oh, I got one. And I'm showing it right now. Just give me a moment, chat. Feel free to have your idle chat. What do you guys think of this conversation so far? Do you think this is even a good thing? Or do you think, wow, this is fucking stupid? They shouldn't have done this.
I mean, I went ahead and put in my response in the live chat.
Alright, sorry if I'm not looking at all the live chat. I'm just trying to go through the content as we speak. So apologies. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share on the content just to be sure to keep us going. Yes, I know, shameless plug, but who cares, right? Anyway. This is so fucking awful. Alright, here we go.
We also got a Patreon.
Patreon? Oh yeah. Let's just do a Patreon support call out. For those on my Patreon, thank you for the support. Scotty O'Hare, Cute Cat, and Bravo.
Yeah.
I think I got the names right. Sorry if I don't.
There we go.
Now, for those who...
Hey, I have to remind the Fox of these things sometimes.
Yes, I'm awful at shilling my stuff all the time. But before we start, I will say one more thing. If you really support the cause, by all means, then all I encourage you to do is go ahead to my Patreon anytime and feel free to, spare the shekels. That's up to you. I don't really care. But whatever helps, man. Alright, I'm just going to post this in here and move on to the conversation at hand. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
There we go. And we timed it pretty well. We got it in the 30-minute mark.
Yep. Hell yeah. So, there you go. Feel free to support it through there. Also, why is my... Okay, this is weird. Sorry, guys. Give me a minute. There we go. So, I'm going to go through an old article that's been mentioned several times on social media already. But I'm going to do it because it has a very important connotation to it. So, let's get into it. Let's see. As an LGBT person, how far do you think this term harm does? We'll talk about that in a minute, by the way. So we'll talk about it in a minute after we go through this article. Twitter refused to remove child pornography because it didn't violate Twitter's policy. Lawsuit. Okay. All right. So here we go. Twitter refused to take down widely shared pornographic image and videos of a teenage sex trafficking victim because its investigation didn't find a violation, unquote, of the company's policy. A scathing lawsuit alleges. The federal suit filed Wednesday by the victim and his mother in the Northern District of California, of course it's always in California, alleges Twitter made money off of the clips, which showed a 13-year-old boy engaged in sexual acts in a form of sexual abuse material, or child porn. This suit states. The teen, who is now 17, lives in Florida and identifies himself as John Doe, which he makes sense because they're not allowed to post a lot of personal information if they're a minor. John Doe was between 13 and 14 years of age with sex traffickers, opposing as a 16-year-old female classmate. His started chatting with him on a super chat. The site alleges, the suit alleges, excuse me. Doe and the traffickers allegedly exchanged nude photos, and before the conversation turned to blackmail, if the teen didn't share more sexually graphic photos and videos, the explicit material he would already have sent be shared with his parents, coach, pastor, and others, the suit states. Doe, acting under distress, initially compiled and sent videos of himself performing sex acts and was also told to include another child in his video, which he did, the suit's claims. Eventually, Doe blocked the sex traffickers and they stopped harassing him, but at some point in 2019, the video surfaced on Twitter under 2 accounts and were known to be shared child sex abuse material, court papers alleged. Over the next month, the video would be reported on Twitter to at least 3 times. First on December 25th, 2019, but the tech giant failed to do anything about it until federal law enforcement officer got involved, the suit states. Doe became aware of the tweets in January 2020 because they've been viewed widely by his classmates, which subjected him to teasing, harassment, vicious bullying, and led him to become suicidal, court records show. While Doe's parents contacted the school and made police reports, he filed a complaint with Twitter saying that there were 2 tweets depicting child pornography of himself and that they needed to be removed because they were illegal, harmful, and were in violation of site's policies. A support agent followed up and asked for a copy of Doe's ID so they can prove it was him, and after the teen complied, there was no response for a week, the family claims. Around the same time, Doe's mother filed 2 complaints to Twitter reporting the same material for a week. She also received no response, the suit states. Finally, on January 28th, Twitter replied to Doe and said that they weren't taking down the material, which had already racked up over 167,000 views in 2,223 retweets, the suit states. Thanks for reaching out. We reviewed the content and didn't find a violation of our policies, and no action will be taken at this time. The response reads according to the lawsuit. If you believe a potential copyright infringement, holy fuck, please start a new record. The content is hosted on a third-party website. You'll need to contact the Twitter website's team support to report it. Your safety is the most important thing, and if you believe you're in danger, we encourage you to contact your local authorities. Okay. Ooh, that's a salt in the wound there. In this response published in the complaint, Doe appeared shocked. What do you mean you didn't see a problem? We are both minors right now, and we were minors at the time where these videos were taken. We were both 13 years of age. We've been baited, harassed, and threatened to take these videos, and then now we're being posted without our permission. We do not authorize these videos at all, and we need to be taken down, the teen wrote back to Twitter. He even included his case number from a local law enforcement agency, but still the tech giant allegedly ignored him and refused to do anything about the illegal child sex abuse material, as it continued to rack up more and more views. 2 days later, Doe's mom was connected with an agent from the Department of Homeland Security through a mutual contact who successfully had the videos removed on January 30th, the suit states. Excuse me. Unquote, only after this takedown demanded from a federal agent did Twitter suspend the user account that were distributing the CSAM and reported said material to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. States the suit, filled by the National Center of Exploitation on Sexual Exploitation and two law firms. Excuse me. This directly in contrast with their automated reply message and user agreement state that they will do to protect children. The disturbing lawsuit goes on. Alleged Twitter knowingly hosts creeps who use a platform to exchange child porn material and profits from it by including ads interspersed between tweets, advertising, or requesting the material. Earlier Thursday, Twitter declined to comment to the post, but later in the day, reversed course and sent an email statement. Twitter has a zero tolerance policy for any material and features promotes in sexual child sex exploitation. We actively fight online against child sex abuse. We have heavily invested in technology and tools to enforce our policies, a Twitter spokesperson wrote. Our dedicated team will work to stay ahead of bad faith actors bullshit and we're ensuring we're trying to do anything we can to remove content, facilitate investigations, and protect minors from harm on both on and offline. Now, you may be asking, why am I harping on this old article so much? Well, because we know Twitter is probably the worst type of website when it comes to moderation, including Reddit. We know that from this point on, Reddit and Twitter have never changed. But they want to make these rules that you should adapt to their rules, that you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't be mean to pedophiles. But when push comes to shove, they seem to be pretty damn protected. I cannot count the amount of times I almost got completely and terminally banned from Twitter because I keep making content and posting, hey, here's a stream where we dance on a pedophile's grave. And all of a sudden, it's a problem. What do you think, chat? Hell, what do you even think, Bash?
Well, I mean, there seems to be a rather large problem, and it's been happening for over a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least the new resurgence of it has.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like I keep mentioning on and off air. It's because whenever the original LGBT community to where they could marry, and then should like, for example, I guess you and your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Let's say that, I mean, I wouldn't wish this upon you, but like you got cancer or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you guys there are now ways that he can go and visit you.
Yeah.
You know, like in the early 2000s and in the 90s, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, with that happening, everybody, like, a lot of people went home. They didn't want to do activism anymore because they got what they wanted.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we're on this section, what I'm going to do now is we'll talk about and read through another article. But before we do that, I will actually add some people in here about... We're just going to have a general conversation about Twitter ban, Reddit ban, all these things with people and their experiences for a bit. So if you guys want to join on the stream and have your opinion on a small roving door, rolling, you know what I mean, revolving door, feel free to join. So we got some people in here. Hello there, Jennifer Ranella. Hello there, Fox Azure, and hello there, Adam. How are you guys doing? Feel free to introduce yourselves one by one.
Well, I guess since I'm the only muted, I'll begin and butt in front of everyone like the cunt that I am. I'm Adam, sketch Palo, who cares? Yeah, that's my introduction.
Hello there, Fox Azure.
Yep, that's me, Fox Azure. I'm
that was so
yet
hot.
another ask. What?
That was so hot the way you said that.
Hello there, Jennifer.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I'm going really fast on the one-on-one. Feel free to finish. My bad.
No, I there's not much else to say.
Oh, okay, never mind. Hello there, Jennifer. How you doing? Yep.
Earth to Jennifer.
I don't know, it could be like a little bit of a lag. Discord's been kind of fucky lately.
Yeah.
You might check your Discord settings. Sometimes they turn off your microphone for no reason whatsoever. Trust me, I know from personal experience.
Yeah, it is. Fuck you, Adam.
Okay, so
Shut up.
I'm not able to hear Jenny, so I'm guessing
I can't hear them either. Let's see if we'll let them come back. Oh, they're there.
Yeah. They were hopping in and out.
Yeah.
Hello?
Some problem.
I mean, if they're dealing with mobile Discord, mobile Discord has issues with moving people into a voice chats.
Yeah, that is true. So, on top of it, there's also another article. I will read through some of it, but I'm not going to go like too far into it. So it's from the Daily Signal or whatever you call that. It goes, "Okay, groomer." Okay, groomer. Phrase calling out predators banned on Twitter. Let me see. Yeah, like fucking switching over here. Also, if anyone has power to move people in here and feel like doing that, you go ahead and do that. But
You don't want to. You don't want to. You do not want to give me power.
okay, well, I'm talking about like the mods.
I got my eye on it.
All right, so we're going through this smaller. I'm not going to go too much into it again. But yeah, goes editor note. This commentary originally published on March 23rd has been updated to reflect Twitter's suspicions of James Lindsay and the parents' rights organization Moms for Liberty, as well as Twitter's new policies surrounding the word groomer. One of the many topics that the radical left has sought to render verboten. There is none more contagious than the gender identity of the same year suggesting that a man cannot become a woman and there are two genders. The Twitter harpies take fights and seeks to fight to destroy their enemies. Let's see. On Monday, Twitter suspends the account of the parents' rights group Moms for Liberty after it tweets criticism of California's bill pushing for gender reaffirming healthcare for minors. Gender dysphoria, other things of nature, California, blah blah blah. James Lindsay. American cultural critic James Lindsay was briefly suspended from the platform last Thursday after he called a Media Matters for America employee a groomer. And it goes on all these other words. Let's see. Remember when pride was a sin and alleged Page was her breast removed by criminal suspicion, blah blah blah. So it's again, this article, not going too much into it because it's got a lot of its own ridiculous spite into the conversation. It's not really doing much better than Pink News. But as you can tell,
Pink News
I've-
sounds like a backwards form.
I was just gonna say I've literally never heard of that outlet ever.
yeah,
No,
I only
Pink
heard
News-
about it because of this.
But
Pink News
they
sounds
kind
like
of they kind of remind me of Beautiful Trouble, which was it's good. Beautiful Trouble, I believe, was another outlet that was just good lord. I mean, this was Gamergate era, so who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
8 years ago or some shit.
Pink News honestly sounds like some sleazy backwards porn website where, you know, like when you go to Pornhub and they have those really shitty ads. Click here to come in 5 seconds, and then you click on them and it takes you to like a
No, I
million
don't. I
different
don't know how that is.
Alright,
yeah,
so
sure. Of course you don't.
what I'm getting from this, also Jennifer says sorry about that, mobile Discord sucks ass. No, I don't blame you for it. If you manage to fix that enough to get back in here, we'll let you in. But essentially, what I'm getting from it here is that Pink News seems to be the very classical, overly zealous, overly, I'm just gonna say the word retarded, political type groups that like to twist things into being a shit show because that's how they get their money and views, you know, how they get their hint of clout, their hint of attention and recognition, because they want to double down on shit and basically be the equivalent of the football team. So you got your rights and your lefts, your reds and your blues, and they're gonna twist anything to be like, I will do anything possible to own the conservatards. And so far, that's basically boiling down to let's get rid of the word groomer. You can't call out pedophiles no more. Is essentially the argument I'm getting from this. Because
Little
Wasn't,
sauce,
like,
not gonna lie.
Wasn't there this whole push, like, I don't know, like a month ago or something, to try to make it so that the word femboy was recognized as a slur too?
yeah, there's been that type of drama as well.
Did that blow over? Does anyone give a shit about that anymore?
Well, it's more like one of those things they try to massively turn into a shit show, and then people just like forgot about it a week after.
Come on, that's
Oh,
that's one of the best tags on E621. Come on, guys.
gynomorph, male slash gynomorph, gynomorph penetrating
But, like,
female.
What you're seeing here is this weird like trend where you're just like, in the interest of the community, we need to get rid of this or that. And the thing is, as I've said earlier, is I know that you got these crazies in Pink News, for example, that think they're somehow helping their own cause, but in actuality, they're making it worse. Someone said here, "What do you think this has a harmful effect on the LGBT community?" I say massively. No, this is going to kill it. And the reason I say this with absolute certainty is because the average person now thinks you might be a freak, because they're going to look at this and go, yeah, I honestly don't care if some spastic tard on Reddit or Twitter starts using the term against you in some weird way. Like, they don't care about that. They don't care about petty internet political blood sports. They don't care. They're going to look at the news that this word's been banned, and they're going to go, well, the only reason you're banning this is you probably are one.
Yeah.
That's what the average person who has a family is going to look at this.
Master level projection right there.
They're going to look at this and go, okay, this is disgusting. I don't know why you banned this word. It sounds like you might be one. Why do you have a problem with this word so much? And the thing is, the uber extreme left argument right now is, oh, but people on the online use it to disparage our side. I'm like, cool. Like when you guys use the word Nazi, who gives a shit? Like, no one cares. The average person's gonna look at this and think you're kid touchers now, because and you're doubling down on it too, which makes it even worse. So thank you. You made things worse for all of us. Thanks. That's really smart. Now, before anyone says anything, this channel isn't specifically political. I don't give a fuck about your politics. I'm calling out every fucking buddy in general. I think politics is fucking gay because of shit like this.
Very fitting.
Oh, I mean, throw up that YouTube one.
Which one?
I sent it in live stream.
Is it in live stream? Where is it? Oh, there we go. Oh, Jesus! All right, give me a second, see if it works. No, wait, hold on. We move to the TV room. We can do it there.
Politics is gay. Castle fucks.
Very gay.
Hey,
That quote should be enshrined in eternal bronze. That's why I put it in the stream
Good.
chat.
Let me just play this for 8 seconds.
Fucking quiz!
Sopranos quote fucking
Good quiz.
as a bisexual person, I think that my personal epic quote and opinion would be, politics is sorry, no, I phrased that wrong. No, as a person who is politically central, I would say no. Politics is very bisexual to me. You know, you get a little bit of the left, you get a little bit of the right, you shake it all together, and you drink that stuff down. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point of it. It's like, the discourse has gotten so bad, so awful, so fucking awful, that you can't have a conversation now. Like, essentially, it's gotten to a point where, like, the worst of society gets to pick a side and say that they're a part of something by saying that, like, when you say the word, you can't call out groomers, that's an anti-LGBT slur. You are essentially in leagues with these groups by argument through the average person's eyes. I think it's funny because essentially this is what the maps wanted. So, congratulations, people, the uber crazy types at the LGBTQ that makes these decisions. You just fucked us all. You gave the maps exactly what they fucking want. And because, you know,
They groomed us all.
They groomed us all. Because the thing is, like, at the end of the day, this does cover up, like, legitimate crimes, though. Because, like, if you say the word groomer, you're like, you know it's going to be enforced in a way where you're just not allowed to say that word, period. Like, let's be real, like, Twitter and Reddit. Yeah, they're going to be fair and yeah, bullshit.
Hey, I am not a groomer, I am a Kuma. That is my identity. That is what I am.
So, does that mean that we're all Discord kittens now?
Meow for me, daddy. Yeah.
I mean, Cherry's my Discord daddy. That's the only Discord daddy I answer to. By the way, Shell Cherry's Bad Comic streams Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, only on YouTube.
Also, real quick, so still missing guy says Kaz called me a slut. Hello there, you slut.
Oh God, no.
What you gonna do? No, anyway, hello Jester. Oh, okay, am I getting the wrong person? Excuse me. A lot of political news clickbait's harder than a 3 a.m. YouTuber.
OMG, I got groomed on Discord at 3 a.m. WTF, must watch till very end.
I summoned EDP to my bedroom.
Why would you do that?
We got these cupcakes.
Oh my
Made
goodness,
sure
no.
that they had pink frosting.
Okay, guys, today we're doing the epic pedophile summoning challenge. I've got a little box of cupcakes here, guys. This is gonna be so crazy, guys. So make sure to smash like and subscribe right now. Otherwise, at 3 a.m., EDP will come to your house
Eat your cupcake.
And eat your cupcakes, yes, daddy.
Why would you do that?
Oh my fucking god. Okay. But see, like, again, that's just the thing with these type of conversations is that, like, the LGBT is gonna get fucked. Yes, I make that prediction. I'm calling it now. This is only gonna make this shit so much worse. But there is a way out on the subject, actually. So I've gotten wind of a group known as Gays Against Groomers. I don't know too much about them.
Gag. The name is Gag. The name is Gag. Are you fucking me? Oh my god. Oh no.
We're Gag, and we're here to solve the problem.
Oh no.
So,
Oh man.
Please tell me
No.
one of them has codename Deep Throat.
I have no
They
idea.
call me TC, that stands for throat cum.
But so they're called
Ranks is for
let's just
later.
go- they're called Gays Against Groomers, and they're a new group coming out to essentially, I don't know.
Gag.
Yeah, gag. So I don't know how to explain this group's existence outside of what do you call that, like alt gay or something? I don't know. Like, how do you even describe that? I don't remember. Then they're
I mean, there's going to be a counterculture for every culture that is disagreed upon.
well, that's
We
kind of
live
the
in a
point.
culture, Batman.
Oh my god. That's kind of the point of the conversation. Now, I'm obviously just going to go and if for anyone who wants to rejoin the conversation after we go through this video, feel free to be in the waiting room because we need to make sure people we're just going to go through we're just going to go through this video about the subject. So we'll call them GAG, but Gays Against Groomers. They are a YouTube channel full of self-proclaimed LGBT members who are specifically calling out groomers, and the use of the word, the banning of the word groomer, and all the other stuff that's been going on. I don't know much about them, obviously, but I hope that this would be a start of a giant thing when, more gays call this shit out. Maybe, who knows? So we're gonna watch through the video. Excuse me, real quick. Can I do that? All right, let me go and try to screen share this real quick.
Awesome. That way I can actually,
Yeah, excuse me if it's acting weird. Fucking Discord doesn't want me to do this for some fucking reason. I don't know why, chat.
be being DDoS attacked. It did.
Attacked, it did. Attacked. Alright, so
There's hacksaws out there.
let's go through the video.
The social media site Reddit yesterday decided that they were no longer going to allow the term groomer to be used on their page anymore, calling it an LGBTQIA+ slur. Joining us now to discuss this from Gays Against Groomers, Jamie Michelle. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hey, Ari. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So can you explain to me why this word is so triggering for them?
Yeah, I think it's because they understand that what they're doing is wrong and is actually grooming and sexualizing and indoctrinating children. But they need to protect this their agenda at all costs. I mean, they're full steam ahead with it, and they're trying to do anything they can to get people to stop talking about it. But in turn, they're only making people talk about it more. So
That's actually a pretty good point coming from her. Also, by the way, if the sound's off, then that's not me. That's genuinely the video. Like, there's like you can only hear one side of it. I'm just bringing it up for the audience if you're hearing this. But so as you can tell, like, yeah, that's a good point. They don't want you talking about the creepy people within the communities. There's another video come out soon about a guy called Alec Bernard or something like that, right? Who's a quintessential example of this. He's one of those socialist types who tried to accuse the right wing of projecting on the idea of calling people groomers. And then it turns out the guy was a pedophile who molested a kid at his like Hawaiian like town, and because he was a school teacher. And he got arrested for child pornography with another teacher over all the way at Pennsylvania. So like, the thing is, what I'm trying to bring up here is that every community ever, doesn't matter if it's a furry, a gaming community, a fucking, like video games, like gaming cards, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's LGBT, political or non-political. There is always going to be at least one child molester in every single community, online and offline, trying to gain power for themselves so they can touch your kids. That has always happened, and it will always continue to happen until people have proactive steps to stop it. The LGBT, however, has none. If you were like me, who called this shit out, you'd be called a self-hating gay and be fucking, like, kicked off the community like you're just Tuesday's trash. That's all that happens. This is the reason why this shit's going to be a death spiral for them.
So I'm not sure why they do this to themselves, but they always seem to, get in their own way. But I think that's
Get in their own
why
way.
they're doing it.
So here's
But yeah,
something.
it's ridiculous.
Well, I think about the TV show The West Wing, and there's a great episode where they're always trying to attach amendments about gay marriage or protection of marriage or whatever it is to different legislation they're passing that has nothing to do with it. And President Bartlett says on the show, I don't get it. These people can't stop talking about sex. And in that case, he's actually
That's another fantastic point. Yeah, give me a second.
talking about people on the right side of the aisle, but it seems like all this is always just about the hypersexualized agenda. Why?
To be fair, that's another thing that gets a lot of these communities, including furries, when I call them out, funny. So like they go like, we're not for this, but like we over sexualize everything. That's another thing. Like you're obviously going to be attracting certain groups of people the more you overly sexualize a hobby or a movement. That is fucking true.
Why the extreme focus on this?
I'm not sure, but it started a long time ago, even before they started going after children in recent years. I mean, myself and many of our other coalition members have really distanced ourselves from the community as a whole, and we don't go to pride events anymore because the whole thing, is just so overly sexual. Like it's like a kink fest, and this isn't a reflection of how we live our lives. I mean, most of us, all of us within the coalition, like you probably wouldn't even know that we were gay if we passed you on the street. We just look like everyone else. We live our lives like anyone else. That's all we wanted, was just to be able to live our lives like everyone else. And as always, the radical woke activists have kind of hijacked the whole movement and are insistent on corrupting children now in our name.
There's something.
And
Yeah, there's something that's confusing to me. Maybe you can help explain this to me, because this is all relatively new for me. Not saying it's a new phenomenon, but something that I've only been talking about recently. So, the LGB community seems to be a very
Notice how he doesn't even use the word T.
different approach than the T community, because it seems to be the LGB community is, we were born this way, we just want to have gay marriage. We want to have all the tax credits that come with it. We want to be accepted commonly in America, etc., etc. And it seems like the T community is about, well, we weren't born this way, so we're going to alter how we were, and we want you to accept us that way. It seems like two very contrary messages.
Yeah, there seems to be a thing is the lack of consistency. I mean, if you're going to have a community full of people, you need to have better ground rules about who and who you shouldn't put around in there, and who, like, and about whether or not this is a sexual thing or not. Again, like I said, like, every community, especially furries, because that's kind of my big hiccup. I like making fun of the furry community sometimes. They do this all the time where they say, we're not sexual, but they, like, keep posting nothing but sex, and they keep attracting, like, the worst types of people. And then, like, oh, this community that's totally wholesome has a bunch of pedophiles in the Discord who owns a Discord server, guys, and totally macking on a child. What a surprise! Like, maybe if you toned it down a little bit on the obsessive, like, heathenistic bullshit, you might have protected yourself a little better. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I personally never understood why we got lumped in with the T, and let alone all the other letters now. But yeah, I mean, being gay, being LGB is who you love. Being T is who you are, who you think you are, perceive yourself to be, and they're really very, very different. In no other scenario would those two things be conflated with each other. But yeah, they just seem to, out of convenience, want to lump us all together. And now what's even worse is that people are lumping us all together when they see what's being done to children, right? Like, they think that the gay, the LGBTQ, I just say the alphabet community because there's too many letters now for me to keep track of. I think there's a number 2.
Too many. Yeah, I can feel that.
But they think everybody within the alphabet community is thinks the same, and that we all support this, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, that's also extremely true. That's why I don't understand, like, the whole, like, as a collective group thing. I've never thought like that, but maybe I'm just retarded for. I guess I'm just not too sophisticated for the uber lefty mindset, but I've always kind of feel like that is the problem with the LGBT, is that they're all different alliances of groups, but they all act like they have to use their voice on one and every single issue, despite the fact that they're, like, supposed to be their own, like, thing, like their own different groups. They're like alliances, you know? And sometimes I kind of wonder, why should we listen to this giant community about tolerance when they can't even tolerate each other? Like, that's a real hot take, right? I've seen the LGBT community. I'm supposed to be part of it, given, you know, I'm dating a dude and I'm into dudes and shit. So, like, right? So why is it that we need to listen to talk about, like, you need to stop using the word groomer. We need to be tolerant to freaks. But, like, these guys can't even tolerate each other. They fucking hate each other worse than they hate the fucking white cis guys, right? The white straight dudes. They hate each other. They hate each other's fucking guts, and I don't know why that we need to listen to these people. Like, what's the point?
So, yeah, the work that we're trying to do.
I've never really understood the moment that we were able to get gay marriage settled.
Yeah.
It would have been the moment that all of this would have, you know, just dispersed.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all I wanted to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, but for some reason, they took an idea that finally got kind of completed by having, like, a all-around marriage thing, right? Gay marriage is the thing, whatever. And then, like, it just continues, though. Even though the job's done, and now, like, we're sitting here wondering how long until the word P gets added, you know? And when I mean P, I don't mean, like, pansexual either. So, like, when is that going to happen? I'm curious now, because at this point, I'm kind of half convinced that's going to be a thing.
I believe it's really important to, you know, to both protect children and also to, you know, try and reclaim our good standing within society, because we achieved that not that long ago, and these activists and radicals are rolling that back so quickly now, and it's really devastating.
I am totally stealing that and giving you very little credit. No, I'm just kidding. I'll give you all credit for that alphabet term. I like that. I'm definitely for sure using it. We're talking with Jamie Michelle.
Go for it.
Yeah, thank you. We're talking with Jamie Michelle, who is the creator of the organization Gays Against Groomers. So I guess aside from pushing back on this insane narrative that's coming out right now, which is leaving children open and vulnerable, especially in public schools, what message would your community like to get out there?
I mean, yeah, we're just really tired of it being done in our name. You know, there are child predators that have existed, you know, outside of the community and still do, right? But right now, all that you see coming from our community is this targeted assault on children. And we just want to make it known to the whole world that the vast majority of us oppose it and are just as disgusted by it as you all are, if not more so, because we're being literally equated to these people, and we're nothing like them. We don't want to push a lifestyle or what we do in our private lives on anybody. And so we're just trying to really draw a large line between us, separate ourselves as much as we can, to show that no, we actually are just as much against this as you. And yeah, we just started in June, so it's picking up really quickly. It's growing very fast, and I think that people know.
Yeah, it's very true. They're a very new group, and they're up to like 646 subscribers in a span of practically maybe like a month or two. I think that's pretty good for a community of people who want to call stuff out. That's I think a decent amount of traction so far. So it seems like they are pulling up some steam.
How?
Huh?
Most definitely.
Oh yeah.
Effective. We're gonna
I'm just agreeing.
We've already had like
I'm just,
4 hit pieces written about us. Media Matters just dropped one today, which I'm kind of honored. I mean, that gives us a lot of legitimacy to be, you know, written up by them. But you know, they call us an anti-LGBTQ group, and it's like, but everybody within the group is LGBT, like, right? Like that we're all. I mean, we're part of the community, so it's very strange. But yeah. We're just trying to separate ourselves and make sure that everyone knows that we don't all support this, and we're going to do everything we can to stop this from happening to kids. And I truly believe it's going to take us from within the community to be able to do so, because straight people are written off so easily as just hateful and bigoted, and you know, their voices don't really get too far in this push, in this movement to end this. But they're going to have a harder time doing that to us. I mean, you can see they're trying. Media Matters just did, but it's total nonsense.
yeah, of course. As soon as I call it out, they're getting they're in the usual. Oh, these people, these gays against groomers. Nah, they're just not the real gays, man. We gotta play Trino Scotsman fallacy, you know. They're self-hating gays. Always fucking happens. I guarantee. Like I said, I've said some of this shit myself years ago. I was treated like human dirt for even suggesting this was a problem. And guess what? I turned out I was fucking right 3 years after the fact.
And I think anybody with a few brain cells understands that.
Well, I got to say, you're in good company if Media Matters is coming after you, because I was one of their favorite
I know.
targets. Yeah, I mean, during the autonomous zone in Seattle, when that was happening, like every single day, you remember that insanity for a month? They kept coming after me nonstop, you know, trying to say, oh, he has no idea what he's talking about. My favorite claim by one of the outlets was, because I didn't live in the autonomous zone, I didn't know what I was talking about, even though I just lived a couple miles away and was there every single day. They're really fun people over there. Yeah, so take it as a supreme compliment, Jamie. Really.
Oh,
So,
I do.
Yeah.
Totally. I completely do. I'm very excited about it.
Now, Jamie, the people in your organization, I would assume they span the political spectrum, or are they more largely identifying with more Republican, more Democrat, or they're all over the board?
Well, see, I personally am on the right side. And I have been running a social account, as the Gay Who Strayed on Instagram for like 6 years, basically to show that not all Trump supporters and Republicans are straight white men, right? To like show that actually there's so many of us that all over the place. So I'm on the right, and so I made a lot of friends that are also gay and on the right just from running that. So I asked all of them, hey, you want to be a part of this with me? But we have had support from leftists, even like people that identify themselves as a leftist.
Gays
like,
going their own way.
What they're doing is disgusting. I am against this. I totally support you guys. So I don't see Gays Against Groomers as a partisan coalition or movement at all. I mean, this whole issue is completely bipartisan. It should be bipartisan, and it's not about right versus left. It's really good versus evil, and there's nothing
there
as
you go.
uniting, I don't think, as protecting and safeguarding children.
JB Michelle from Gays Against Groomers, thank you so much for your...
So that's one of their more bigger lined videos. I will show up a few of their shorts, but just to hammer in the point. So, excuse me. If I can actually show this, because I'm not familiar with fucking with shorts by any means, so excuse me. Even showing anything? Might as well.
It's showing on my end, but I don't know about
Now it won't show on the TV. Fuck. Wait, it's not even acknowledging it as a thing anymore. What the fuck? What the fuck? Doesn't want you to hear about it, guys. Guess YouTube's doing something. I don't know.
Susan said nah.
So here it is, the most unpopular opinion I'll ever do. I hope you guys duet and stitch and save or whatever you need to do to this, because it's going to get down fast. If I would have understood when I was younger that fighting for my rights as a lesbian would mean allowing children to drag shows, attaching child molesters to our community, and allowing children to change their sex before they even know what their favorite color is, I would have never done it. Never. So here it is, the most...
Damn, okay. See, that's an interesting point, because I'm kind of in that same boat, you know what I mean?
I know that you got a job.
Ow.
So,
Sorry. I fucking hate operating through YouTube Shorts. Fuck me. But see, that's a fantastic point, because I'm kind of in that boat myself, right? I'm that type of guy who goes, you know, I wish I've never said anything about sexuality. I wish I wasn't these things, you know? Because I have to deal with this, and it means participating in a group that allows this shit. You know, you get that feeling. Now, it doesn't mean that every single person who's involved in it is that way. They're not. Obviously, I don't believe in the idea that everyone who's LGBT are predators. No, that's a retarded argument. I'm not encouraging that. No shit, Sherlock, on that one. But I get the sentiment. We are in a very dark time for everyone and everything. And I honestly think people who call this shit out should be encouraged to. Because I'm not a pussy. I hate this, like, we need to be nice to weirdos on the internet. No, fuck off. No, conflict breeds character. If you're a pussy, you deserve to be laughed at. I don't give a fuck who you are.
The videos that I'm making,
So in this thing from Gays Against Groomers, otherwise known as GAG, this is their shorts called "The Fight to Safeguard Children from Groomers Isn't a Partisan Issue."
The stance that I'm taking on anti-child grooming or anti-speaking to kids about adult topics. Ooh, look at what happens when you have a dog. Somebody look at that. This isn't a political side. I'm fighting for all your children, not just Republican children, independent children, liberal all children. I don't want people talking to any of your children in what I've been seeing in all communities, not just the LGBT community, but all communities. Period.
Oh, there's his take. I think that's the latest we got from them so far with their uploading. So that's Gays Against Groomers. Feel free how you will. I think them calling this shit out is a good thing. Yeah. So if you want to support that, go ahead, I guess. I'll obviously keep an eye on them. They're a lot bigger on Twitter than they are on YouTube. But they do call out a lot of stuff. What the okay. Alright, okay. So that chick from earlier, I forgot her name. I'm sorry. Let's look at this. So the advocate from Pink News, or at least one of them, I forgot her name. It was Alexandra? Alexandra? Like, I don't remember her. I don't know how you pronounce her name for life of me, so excuse me. But Cardell or something like that. Carbell, I'm awful at pronouncing this shit. But she's trying to call these people out. Let's look at the cringeworthy take. Because it is cringe. So she goes, accounts like gays against groomers. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get rid of the chat real quick. Accounts like gays against groomers provide them cover to say it's not an LGBTQ. Say it's not LGBTQ, and they're only against the sexualizing of children. Yet they define sexualizing as simply being a trans person, children taking children about being trans. That's not what they're saying, but it's funny how you keep trying to double down on this. It's very weird. It's almost like you have a vested interest in trying to deflect and attack people who call this out. I wonder why. Gays against groomer. We're not being offended by the term groomer because we are not groomers. What we are is offended by this small group of radicals trying to indoctrinate and sexualize children in our name. Anyone trying to claim groomer is a slur against our community are gaslighting us, period. This is a take from the Gays Against Groomers. And honestly, that's a good take. Because obviously, like, if people are trying to use your community to silence conversation, then they probably are only there for evil reasons, maybe. The Scouts Association introduced the term trans fun badge for members as a young us forward. This is insane. Leave the kids alone. Shame on you, Scouts. Yeah, that seems really fucking stupid. Okay, what the fuck? If you're someone like Blair White, it's Maddie and Buck Angel, I think it's okay. Trans people that actively pass as the gender without confusing kids. I don't think any kid would look at Blair and think she's not a biological woman, they, them. Okay, so it's just the thing about Blair. Because apparently if you mention Blair White, that somehow you're an asshole, I guess. Because I guess a transgender person who calls out pedophiles is a monster somehow. Well, fuck if I know. You know? So, yeah, this person's just a dirty little clout chaser who's trying to get attention and trying to divert topics all the time. You can clearly see in her responses to everything that she's just being those what I like to call a politisberg. So, yeah, okay, so this chick's clearly a what I like to call a politisberg. She is such a delusional political advocate for two reasons. One, either she's genuinely this fucking stupid, so she needs to, like, twist the fucking conversation as if everyone who calls out predators is a problem. Or two, she's a genuine clout chaser who just wants to turn everything into a political shit show so she makes money in internet fame because people are so stupid they will, like, bat for their team. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I've noticed from these type of people. They sexualize trans identities to... No, they did not. I'm sorry, what? They sexually trans identities to dehumanize trans people. No, they don't. And remove them from society. Gender criticals do this by calling trans people fetishists. That's not what they call them. What are you on about? By reducing an identity to a sexual act. No, they don't. Them to view them as less than human. No. They are calling out pedophiles. They are calling out monsters of every community. No one cares at the end of the day if a pedophile is self-described as gay or trans or anything. People don't like their kids being touched, you fucking tard. Jesus. Step 1. Define a group targeted as pedophiles. Step 2. Push out propaganda calling the group pedophiles. Okay. Alright. I know you are dense. I know you likely fell on a brick, like a pile of bricks when you were a kid. But that's not how it works. And at the end of the day, who cares if, let's say, a bunch of right-wingers make fun of your movement? Boo fucking who? It is the internet. People say edgy shit, you spaz. What people should focus on is the fact that every community has predators, and you should do everything you can to fucking find those predators and annihilate them. Sorry, I fucking hate these people with a passion. As in, like, you know, fucking clout chasers like this. God, I hate this fucking shit.
All I gotta say is, okay, Groomer.
Okay, Groomer. Reboot, but the backlash by saying they want to stop child abuse and not only pedophile, and that only pedophiles should be what? Reboot, but backlash by saying that they want to stop child abuse and that only pedophiles should be offended. Okay, Groomer. Step 4: justify physical violence against them. Okay, Groomer. Feel free to go in the fucking wood chipper. These people hide behind word games and concern trolling and deflection, but the intent remains. They do not give a fuck about children. They aren't supporting charities or working with abuse preventions. They're selling merch on Spotify to profit off of it. Isn't that exactly what you fucking do too, Groomer? Fuck off. God, this is annoying.
Okie dokie, Groomer.
We are against the queer and gender theory indoctrination of kids too, not just sexualize them. You should know that after stalking our page every day. Also, thank you for listening to our first space last night. We know you were in there. Call her out for stalking them. That's funny. Okay. So that's what it is. You got some crazy people who want clout. In my response to these people, anytime they get butthurt, when they say, "Oh, like Groomer is an anti-LGBT slur," whenever your response should be, "Okay, Groomer." Whatever you say, Groomer. All right, we get Luna in here. We get the usual parties in here. Excuse me.
I got forcibly thrown into the show.
Hello.
My headphones on.
Hello. It's your
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
See you later. See you later, Jesus. Base of Jesus.
Jesus!
So yeah, my response to this is that whenever you see someone getting butthurt that you're using the word groomer to describe an actual groomer, just say, "Okay, whatever you say, groomer." Oh, here's a better groomer. Here's a better one because you're probably gonna get banned for saying that. Okay, predator.
Hey, listen, okay, I was just talking about my dog and how I needed to give him a haircut and I needed to give him a wash. I mean, listen, I was going to make a whole business out of this, but the van was too expensive and then you've got to get the decals printed. It's a whole big thing. Okay?
Yeah, after this, dog groomers are going to be called dog stylists from now on.
After this, the only dog groomer who's going to be around is Kero the Wolf.
Oh! Too soon.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Well, I mean,
Pride Camp.
Damn it! You get back up here, is there?
The hell just happened?
That was error between user and computer is what that
Alright,
was.
So, I don't know if I should. Actually, no, I probably should just because for the sake of it, because I think it's cringy as fuck. But so, a new library in New York advertised a youth pride camp for kids as young as 4, where they can speak to counselors about gender identity, sexuality. What the fuck?
Oh, why? This is a recipe for disaster.
Totally not a recipe for like abuse. Like, how dare you go to the Scouts? There's full of child molesters and people touching your kids in the Scouts. Like, oh, but that's okay to have a fucking pride camp.
Like, as if there wasn't already a stigma.
Jesus.
Now we got this.
And you know
I can't believe what I'm seeing.
And you know that the
Yeah.
second that one person does one disgusting thing, because you know it's going to happen, everybody's going to pounce on it, nobody's going to forget it, and it's going to be an excuse that we never get to hear the end of.
Oh yeah. No, this
Rainbow Squad Pride Camp.
If this shit happens and like something happens to a kid, like it will be like it would be etched into history practically on any discourse. You'll never get away from it. at all.
A free virtual camp. Wait, virtual.
Is it in Horizon? Is it in Horizon Worlds? What is this?
I have no clue.
Yeah, is this?
Holy shit! I can't wait to mint my EDP 445 token into a cupcake NFT.
It's on Second Life, guys.
Oh my fucking god. So I think for now I kind of exhausted this conversation because I wanted to talk about this Twitter and the Reddit shit specifically. There's obviously a much bigger conversation going on, but I think we'll talk about that when I have the time and ability to adequately sit down and go through all this nonsense because it's been like months of this crap and I honestly just, don't have the time for it. So, yeah, there you go. There seems to be some fucked up shit going on, yeah.
Real one.
Yeah, I just want to comment on that video with the gays against groomers.
Yeah.
So, the whole reason that the LGBT has become lumped in with groomers is because the vocal ones are pushing for teaching young children about actual sexual encounters and not just basic preventative health.
Yeah.
And then they brought in the whole trans thing. These teaching them too young will lead to them being easier to be touched without them wanting to call it rape as children, because they're like, oh, I learned about this, I know this, I can do this. They're not physically ready to do that, and it makes them easier targets for pedophiles. That, I think, is why it has become the teachers and stuff that are pushing this that have been called groomers because of that reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to get like Alex Jones about this, but I mean, color me paranoid, color me a conspiracy theorist or whatever. But I mean, we all know it's no secret that we're all slaves in the bin, and the guys up top, the guys in charge, are a different class. And we all know that they're already pedophiles. So are they? Maybe. I mean, again, maybe I'm paranoid, but is this maybe like a big psyop to just normalize pedophilia through generations imperceptibly?
I probably wouldn't be surprised if that's the case at this point.
I don't like them putting all those chemicals in the water. They turn the freaking kids gay. I don't like them putting up these pedophiles in the water. They turn the freaking kids gay.
Essentially, what you have is a bunch of powerful people. Like everyone knows at some level the world is kind of being ruled by sick fucks and like legitimate freaks with like Hollywood and people in power being exposed on the daily, especially with this whole like pedo hunting thing going on YouTube and the rise of vigilantes. Like shit's getting exposed left and right, and I don't think it's a coincidence that these social media sites have been continuing to ramp up algorithmic changes and flat out bans and censorship on the word like groomer. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this goes on to YouTube where they say we'll ban the word groomer, or Facebook saying we'll ban the word groomer. You can't say it on TikTok, they'll just straight up get rid of you anyway. They already know that. That's why EDP goes there in the first place when he gets banned. So like at this point, like I wouldn't be surprised if the LGBT is just being used for a larger thing and they'll be disposed of yet again the first minute the use is done, like they always have been. Is something I've noticed. Like they get used for a political thing and then they get tossed aside and then they get used again when it's convenient. I would not be surprised. It happens all the time with politics. Why I don't like politics, because despite what people think, behind the scenes it's all smoke and mirrors and gay ops. That's exactly what it is.
It's like everybody's kind of turned on BLM at this point.
No, they're turning on everybody. People are getting tired of this shit, and I wouldn't be surprised it's because you got the more average people who are looking at this point. Fuck.
I mean, with regards to BLM, though, to be fair, they fell to the same fate that happened to, like, the NAACP and the Black Panthers. Like, it was a noble cause, it was about rights, and then it pretty much got infiltrated, and venture capitalists or whatever kind of changed the idea to be more radicalized to just dismantle people's trust with each other. And if we're fighting each other, we're easier to control.
Yeah, absolutely. That is exactly why I made jokes about the right and the left being basically blue team versus red team. It's more of a giant football game than it is actual cause for fighting anything.
Well, and I mean, they're ultimately, I think they're all on the same team anyway. It's same shit, different piles. Like you said, politics is gay. I think that is a quote that should be enshrined in eternal bronze and attributed to you. I can't think of anyone who said it better. Politics is kind of gay. Not gonna lie.
Here's the thing, right? I'm just trying to suck some dick. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Or maybe. Well, okay. I can be a bit of a Twitch top. Whatever. I don't know. At the end of the day, people have to politicize everything, and okay. Maybe some people have their best interest at mind, or the more power to it. Some people take the weight of their political movement, say, hey, let's not fucking murder these people in the streets because they like this thing that is completely and utterly harmless. It's another thing when you take a bunch of people who have been oppressed and then you just fucking use them for your own gain, no matter which side you're on or no matter where you fall in the center. And then you just cast everything aside and then you just keep the old political machines rolling.
Yeah, for example, like Foxwood, like I know I think bringing it up might fucking stir a few people, but when I was practically just a kid, I remember when Gamergate was a thing, and you saw what happened with that.
Yeah, I was in my I was in my mid to late 20s at the time.
Yeah.
So like, and I unironically enjoyed Carl Benjamin's This Week in Stupid at the time.
Yeah.
I loved that program at the time, and then UKIP happened, and well, you know what happened with that.
What I'm trying to say with that is, like, you got these different organizations and movements and shit, and they usually get co-opted by some crazy fuckwit or a bunch of people who take positions of power, with no checks and balances, and then they get consumed by bullshit rhetoric, and guys, this advocate that's been shilling our shit and whatnot, they've been having a problem. Their house just broke down. We're not showing pictures or anything. Here's a fund for like $200,000 to pay for that. Yeah, it's totally not sus or anything. You better give your money real quick, huh? You're a piece of shit who isn't supporting the cause. Happens all the time. Yeah. Like, it's not just, but just in general. It's why I hate taking politics seriously. People are like, when are you ever talk about politics again like you used to? I'm like, because I can't stand it. I find everyone retarded. I want to scream at everyone and call them as faggots as they are. Fucking shillpan dressing retards. Like, why would I care?
Yeah, I remember when
our support to the cause to keep Kaz Warfox from being a non-poor. Make sure to support Patreon.
Yeah, I remember when Gamergate was kind of starting up. This was about 2014, and I gotta give a major shout out to my parents. I didn't really start using the internet, and this was not like the computer was a forbidden thing. Like, no, I was encouraged to play with Lego and just be outside, and I didn't start using the internet until I was about 16. And I gotta give a major shout out to my parents, because I'm so glad that I didn't have to watch a bunch of dumbasses yelling at each other for all of my childhood. I remember seeing Gamergate, not seeing it go down up front, but hearing about it and hearing about my dad talk about it. And he's, on Reddit and Fork and all that at the time. So he was talking about all the Gamergate stuff, and I remember just not really caring at all. I was 13 and life was balmier and more cheerful.
When I first used the internet, I was 11 years old, and every time you connected to the internet, you heard.
Yep.
And every single phone was attached to a wall, and if you were using your telephone, and yes, telephone attached to a fucking wall, you couldn't use the internet and vice versa.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
no.
The
I
old
remember.
RuneScape days.
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
remember.
yes.
I
Sadly,
remember.
I'm sorry, Adam. I'm gonna let you finish, but I have got to go. Sadly, but thanks for having me, Kaz. Great to see you again, Vash. Great to meet you, Cosmic Luna, and Adam. Always a pleasure.
Ooh.
Later, dude.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
No,
Have a
what?
good one.
What time was
Don't
your?
get raped.
What time was
Oh.
your show?
What was what?
Time was your show?
Oh, I'm on Cedric Feldman's show. Shout out to Cedric Feldman in the chat. I actually got. I'm no longer on Sherry's Bad Comic streams, but definitely check him out. He's got he makes fun of bad comics, and Cedric Feldman kind of does the same thing. So I kind of betrayed them. You know, I escaped my bonds and my slavery. So you can catch me over there on Twitch on Cedric Feldman's channel. You can catch Cherry in his Cherry's Bad Comics stream only on YouTube. That's on Sundays. Both shows are on Sundays, but check it out at your own peril. Your ears and eyeballs might bleed.
All right. Have a good one.
And it turns your pee glowing and green.
That's always really fun when that happens. I love it when that happens. That happens whenever I eat asparagus. Should I be worried?
Yeah. All right. So yeah.
I would message that to WebMD, but usually their answer is that you always have cancer. So.
Oh yeah. I remember when I I was just trying to look up how to kill myself, and they just were telling me I had cancer. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
Yeah. So the verdict, I think, of this conversation, since I think we're gonna wrap this up anyway. I think we've exhausted the topic. So Adam, you got something to say, and like outro or anything?
Oh god. Well, you can catch me on my new custom URL, youtube.com/c/sketchpalo. I passed 100 subscribers recently, so I can do that. Pardon me, I'm eating a strip of Seitan here. No fork just down my throat.
Hey,
Like I always do. Anyway, yeah, you can catch me on my YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/c/sketchpalo, where I look at animation, and I also make some general shit posts, and I also make fun of a very degenerate Rule 34. You can also check out my Twitter, where I retweet cool artwork. I've started doing commissions now, kind of, not officially, but maybe that will be something that I do in the future. And I also do the occasional yelling at pedophiles and zoophiles and just other people being degenerates and wanting to hurt things and people. And I also have a SoundCloud. My man got that SoundCloud. And I make terrible music that no one listens to, so check that out if you want.
Okay.
Alright. Well, have a good one, dude. How about you, Luna? Do you have an outro?
Not really. I can't really keep my channel active at the moment.
No, it's no problem then. Then, have a good one.
Yep.
Jesus. Alright, I would do this real quick and be done with it. So, here's a lesson at the end of the day, folks, is that politics is gay and not that important. And if you're that kind of crazy that needs to defend the worst of society in order to own your opponent, then you're literally no better than trash, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter if you're right-wing, left-wing, conservative, liberal, Democrat, socialist, communist, Republican. It does not matter to me at all. When you see a pedo, deletus the petus. Alright? Deletus the pedo. Get rid of them in all its forms. You cannot sit here and moral fag about big issues and then, like, give credence to literal predators. Or cover up the shit. Because let's be real, in social media, I predict you some serious dolly redos that once the story continues to go on from here, more sites are going to adopt banning the word groomer. More sites are going to continue to do this. And all the enforcement is going to be very haphazard and very selective. And what I mean by that is, if you probably call it a groomer, you're probably at risk. Let's be real. Especially Twitter. Like, we know Twitter's game. Anyway, Politics is gay. It's pointless. And if you honestly are that type of crazy that thinks politics is everything, please get your head checked. Oh yeah. And if some crazy spastic comes at you, screaming, "How dare you call out the pedophiles into the word groomer, how dare you?" then all you have to do is give them this song. Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
Jimmy on a beat, boy.
Okay, okay, groomer. Whatever you say, groomer. Okay, okay, groomer. Groomer. Whatever you say, okay, groomer. Okay, okay, groomer. Groomer. Whatever you say, groomer. Okay, groomer. Okay, okay, groomer. Whatever you say, okay, groomer. G-R-O-O-M-E-R. Please, your pedo moves don't vibe with